Huge news on the vaccine front. We now know when all adults will be eligible to receive the coronavirus vaccine in both Washington and Idaho. How soon it'll be until you can get the vaccine. Plus, after Shopko closed down years ago, it's left multiple locations abandoned for the past few years. We're breaking down the data tonight on if it's actually become a hotbed for criminal mischief.
Spring seems to have taken a back seat with a high of only 41 chilly degrees today, but I am tracking some drier weather, some sunshine and some milder temperatures for the upcoming weekend.
Plus, it's Timmy time. The Gonzaga star isn't only notorious in Spokane, but also in his hometown of Richland, Texas. We're sitting down with his family and friends tonight on Timmy's time in the NCAA tournament. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here tonight. I'm Regina Ahn. Breaking news on the vaccine front. Since you left work, we have confirmed with the governor's office that everyone 16 and older will be eligible to receive the COVID vaccine by May 1st. The State Department of Health has accelerated its tiered approach to vaccine eligibility following the president's directive, making most Americans eligible in just a little over a month. Now the Department of Health warns that more people may be eligible, but demand may outpace supply. So even though you may be eligible, it might take some time to get an appointment. And starting a week from today, 2 million more Washingtonians will be eligible to get the coronavirus vaccine. So that includes 60 years and older, anyone 16 and older with 2 or more medical conditions, people living in a congregate setting like prisons, group homes, and homeless shelters, and critical workers who work in restaurants, manufacturing, or construction. And it's not just Washington opening up vaccine eligibility. Idaho is as well under directive from Idaho Governor Brad Little. Everyone over the age of 16 will be eligible for the COVID vaccine. However, effective immediately, those 16 and older in North Idaho are eligible for the vaccine now. The Panhandle Health District told us today that providers reported having unfilled appointments and they're seeing more vaccines available than there are people coming in. So for a full list of providers offering the vaccine in North Idaho and in Washington, just text the word vaccine to that number right there, 509-448-2000, and we'll send a link right to your phone. New tonight, it's been a few years since Shopko filed for bankruptcy and closed all of its stores in the Inland Northwest. The store on Spokane South Hill was the first to close, and as of right now, it still sits empty. And after an incident earlier this week, questions were raised about whether the property has become a hotbed for mischief and criminal activity. Casey Decker has the hard data tonight.
Well, if nothing else, this Shopko has certainly become an eyesore here on Regal Street. Graffiti on many of the walls, and you can see over here these doors just completely boarded up. And we learned that police are indeed called here quite a bit, but if you look into the actual numbers, you'll find out it's not exactly crime central.
This was the scene at Shopko on Sunday night. A group of about a dozen teenagers broke in, according to Spokane police. Some got on the roof, some ran from the cops. Several were cited, some got juvenile charges. It's a large vacant building with an equally large vacant parking lot outside of it and not much else in the vicinity, so it seems ripe for troublemaking.
Well, I think anytime there's a property that's abandoned or vacant, people will take advantage of that because there aren't people there with a set of eyes to see what their behavior is. So it is a possible opportunity for people to gather and be up to mischief.
Indeed, just since last September, SPD counted 59 calls to that location. That's nothing to sneeze at, but when you start to look more closely at the data, you realize it's not the end of the world either.
59 calls in a 6-month time is a lot, but not all of the calls are reflective of incidents that are happening at the property or to the property. It's just an address location.
In other words, if someone sees something suspicious in the area and calls it in, they're likely to tell the cops it's over by the Shopko, since it's such a notable landmark, and so the call gets logged as at the Shopko.
For example, there were kids that were playing in the woods with flashlights. Somebody referenced that address as the location.
Furthermore, most of the calls aren't actually for crime. A lot are just for things like suspicious vehicles, abandoned property, people doing donuts in the parking lot. Of the 59 calls over about 6 months, only 1 was for burglary and only 4 for trespassing.
So unless we see an uptick in break-ins at the location or something more extensive, I don't think we need to get too worked up about what's going on there, other than it's a nuisance.
We reached out to Shopco Corporate to figure out what plans they might have for this place. We didn't hear back. County records indicate that the land is owned by a company called SHS Incorporated. That company is based in Wyoming, according to state records. We reached out to the listed agent for that company and also didn't hear back. Reporting on Spokane South Hill tonight, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
And we do have a lot of news stories to get to tonight, so let's get to it. Washington Labor and Industries have opened up a second investigation into the COVID-19 outbreak at Durham Bus Services. In this second investigation in relation to employee complaints specifically aimed about coronavirus safety issues, things like a lack of social distancing and failure to enforce a mask. The first investigation is related to death of a Durham employee who contracted the virus and subsequently died 5 days later due to the virus. Labor and Industries have 6 months to complete the investigations under state law. 3 people who were arrested back in September for not wearing masks during an outdoor church event in Moscow are suing the city in federal court. Sean and Rachel Bonnet and Gabriel Wrench are accusing the city police department, arresting officers, and the prosecuting attorney for violating their First Amendment rights. The 3 were arrested at Som Sing. It's an event, and were originally charged with misdemeanors for resisting arrest and violating Moscow's mask mandate. Those charges have since been dismissed. Wrench and the Bonnets are seeking damages for the violation of their constitutional rights and punitive damages for the, quote, reckless indifference to their protected core political and religious rights. The Lake Pend Oreille School Board voted to remove their mask requirement following spring break. The requirement comes as Bonner County coronavirus cases have dropped to a minimal yellow risk level as determined by Panhandle Health. Students can still wear a mask in school if they want. Students will still remain in their class cohorts after spring break. The JCPenney's in Coeur d'Alene's Silver Lake Mall is set to close coming up on May 16th. The closure comes as the superstore filed for bankruptcy last year. The JCPenney's in CDA is among 18 other stores planning to close on May 16th. The retailer announced last May that it planned to close 30% of its 846 stores as part of a restructuring under bankruptcy protection. Turning now to weather today, definitely a lot different than we saw yesterday. Michelle Boss joining us in studio tonight. So Michelle, can we expect it to warm up at all this week?
Yes, it's definitely going to warm up just in time for the weekend, but tomorrow we're still going to have to deal with a few lingering showers. In fact, we do have some winter weather advisories that are in effect through tomorrow morning, mainly for the higher elevations. So Snoqualmie, Stevens Pass under a winter weather advisory till 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Also in the central panhandle of Idaho, Lookout Pass included in that winter weather advisory until tomorrow morning at 8 p.m. So if you're going to be driving in those higher elevations, certainly prepare for some wintry driving conditions. But we're even seeing some accumulating snow on the Idaho side in the Coeur d'Alene area today. Kind of a night and day situation, just plain old rain at the Spokane airport where it's been mainly snow in Coeur d'Alene, and they even had accumulations up to an inch earlier today. Those showers are continuing through the late evening and early overnight hours, but I think things will start to quiet down for the rest of the night. 36 in Spokane, about 4 degrees cooler in Coeur d'Alene. Right at freezing, so some of that snow again could be sticking, but much milder at Moses Lake, 49 degrees, 46 in Wenatchee, in the lower 40s right now in Lewiston. Here's a look at the next 12 hours, cloudy skies, but again, precipitation should diminish here in the Spokane area, but I do think we'll have one more shot of some rain and snow showers tomorrow afternoon, maybe some grapple, high temperatures in the upper 40s, and then we'll start to dry out for Friday and Saturday with highs back up into the middle and upper 50s.
All right, Michelle, thank you. It's an exciting time to be a Zag and a Zag fan. They are taking on Creighton in the Sweet 16. Tip-off is on Sunday at 11:10 a.m. This is the Zag 6th straight season. They have made it to the Sweet 16. You can catch the game live on KREM 2. Well, Spokane has a new city administrator, who he is and what he'll be overseeing coming up next. Plus, later, undoubtedly, Drew Timme living his best life right now in the NCAA tournament, and he's taking his family and his North Dallas neighborhood along for the ride.